Do girls with big breasts really have stronger desires? My dear friends, today we are going to talk about a very private topic that many people are very curious about. That is the strange relationship between the size of women's breasts and their desires. Let's talk about this strange phenomenon first. Sisters with small breasts are always teased as having flat breasts, which is very unpleasant. Sisters with big breasts are called big-breasted girls. What's more, some people say that women with big breasts have particularly strong desires, such big breasts. They must have rich experience, and they must have been touched to make them big. What's the connection? So is there any relationship between the size of women's breasts and their desires? Let's talk about it today on Figure It Out. What does the size of women's breasts have to do with? First of all, let me explain to you that the size of women's breasts is mainly attributed to heredity. Simply put, if the mother's breasts are well developed, then the daughter will most likely have proud breasts. This is just like hereditary height. If the parents are tall, the height of the child is generally not much different. In addition to the key factor of genetics, the size of a woman's breasts is also related to diet, hormone secretion in the body, and the degree of fatness or thinness. A woman's breasts are mainly composed of skin, adipose tissue, fibrous tissue, and mammary glands. If a woman gets fat, there is more fat in her body, and her breasts will naturally expand. During puberty, estrogen, progesterone, and prolactin in the body are very important for breast development. So during puberty, you can eat more estrogen-rich foods, such as soy products, seafood, milk, etc. But be careful after puberty. Eating these will basically be useless for breast development, just like if you miss the sowing season, the crops will not grow well after fertilizing. Is breast size related to desire? I have to tell you categorically that breast size and desire have no direct relationship at all. There is currently no evidence to prove that there is a connection between the two. Think about it. When a woman's breasts are sexually stimulated, whether it is a flat-chested girl or a big-chested girl, the sexual response is actually not much different. There was an experiment abroad which found more than 500 men and women. The researchers took out 3 different photos of women's breasts and asked these people to analyze them. As a result, regardless of gender, most people think that women with big breasts have strong desires on rich experiences. But this is a typical secular stereotype and prejudice, and there is no scientific basis at all. You can't just guess that people have strong desires just because they have big breasts. This idea is completely unreliable. Since breast size has nothing to do with desire, what does the strength of women's desire have to do with it? What does women's desire have to do with it? The strength of women's desire is affected by many factors, such as age, sex hormone levels, psychological factors, physical condition, emotional state, etc. Aged women's desire starts to rise slowly from around 20 years old and reaches its peak like a rocket at around 35 years old. After 35 years old, it gradually decreases like a slide. Why is this so? This is related to the physiological changes in the female body. Around the age of 20, women's bodies gradually mature, and they are more curious and explore more about sex, so their desires naturally rise slowly. Around the age of 35, women are more mature physically and mentally, and their sexual experience and needs are clearer, so their desires reach their peak. After the age of 35, the body's functions gradually decline, hormone levels also change, and desires also decrease. Sex hormone levels. The main sex hormone that affects human desire is estrogen, which stimulates people's desires and makes people more excited by affecting the sexual nerve center and stimulating the reproductive organs. Estrogen also has some effect. Estrogen reaches its peak when the follicles mature, and the impact on desire will also increase at this time. For example, some women may have stronger desires than usual during ovulation, which is related to estrogen changes. The emotional status. Emotional status has a significant impact on women's desires. If 2 people have a bad relationship, quarrel every day, or the relationship breaks down, they are in such a bad state, and women's desires are often affected. Think about it. If you are in a bad mood, how can you think about that? On the contrary, if 2 people have a sweet relationship and understand and support each other, then the desire may be stronger. Can breasts really be touched to make them bigger? My dear friends, I emphasize again that breasts will not get bigger just because of massage. It is nonsense to say that breasts get bigger because of many partners and rich experience. Then someone may ask, why do breasts seem to get bigger after massage? In fact, this is an illusion and only temporary. Because breasts are the sexual sensitive area of women, breast massage by the opposite sex is sexual stimulation. After being stimulated, the breasts will be excited and congested, and the nipples and areola will also stand up, and the breasts will look full and bigger. Therefore, it is not massage that makes breasts bigger, but sexual excitement. If you don't believe it, you can use small toys to stimulate the breasts, and it will have the same effect. When the sexual excitement is over, the hormone level in the body drops, the congestion of the breasts disappears, and it returns to its original size. Here I have to remind everyone, don't let your male companion rub your breasts randomly. If you use too much force or the method is wrong, it may cause subcutaneous bleeding, edema, interstitial edema, and even ligament rupture of the breast. This is not a joke. It will cause great damage to the breast. Final summary. The size of breasts is given by mothers. Big breasts have their own beauty. Small breasts have their own cuteness. Regardless of size, women can show their charm. The size of women's breasts is definitely not a criterion for men to judge women, and it has nothing to do with the strength of desire. We women should not be influenced by these unfounded statements and lack confidence in our bodies. Everyone is unique and must confidently show their beauty. I hope that today's chat will allow everyone to have a more correct understanding of this issue, and everyone can love themselves happily and confidently.